The warm glow of the evening sun spilled through the glass walls of the upscale apartment, casting golden hues across the modern living space. Andrew Carter stood in the kitchen, his sleeves rolled up as he chopped vegetables with practiced ease. Cooking had always been his way of unwinding, a ritual that helped him focus after a long day at work. He glanced at the clock, 6:45 p.m. His wife, Olivia, should have been home by now. A slight frown creased his brow, but he quickly shook it off. She had probably stopped by the boutique she loved, picking up something for her upcoming birthday. Andrew and Olivia had been married for 6 years. They met in college. Olivia, the vivacious journalism major with a radiant smile, and Andrew, the quiet but ambitious engineering student. Their love story had felt effortless, the kind that people wrote about in novels. Friends envied their bond, and Andrew had always believed they were unbreakable. But lately, something had felt off. It started small, subtle changes that could easily be dismissed. Olivia had begun working late more often. Her phone always kept face down on the table. She seemed distant, her laughter less frequent, her touch less lingering. When Andrew asked, she brushed it off, blaming stress or exhaustion. Tonight, however, an unsettling feeling gnawed at him. Andrew heard the familiar sound of keys jingling at the door, and moments later, Olivia stepped in, her designer heels clicking against the floor. She was stunning as always, her long, dark hair perfectly styled, her dress hugging her figure in all the right places. "Hey, babe," she greeted, placing a quick kiss on his cheek before heading straight to the bedroom. "You're late," he remarked casually, watching her retreating figure. "Yeah, work was crazy, and then I ran into Lisa, so we grabbed a quick coffee," Olivia called out from the bedroom. Lisa, the go-to excuse. Andrew wiped his hands on a towel, his mind racing. Just last week, he had bumped into Lisa at the grocery store, and she had mentioned she hadn't seen Olivia in weeks. At the time, he had brushed it off, but now, the lie felt heavier. He walked into the bedroom and leaned against the doorframe. Olivia was checking her phone, her fingers moving swiftly before she tucked the device away. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Of course." "What?" She flashed a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Andrew forced a smile of his own. "Just wondering." He didn't push further. Not yet. Olivia's birthday was just a week away, and Andrew had been planning something special. She loved grand gestures, so he had arranged a lavish party at an exclusive rooftop venue, inviting all their friends and family. But as the days passed, his suspicions deepened. He started noticing more inconsistencies. Olivia was texting late at night, her phone always locked with a new passcode. She would take long showers, staying in the bathroom with her phone in hand. When he casually asked about her plans, she seemed hesitant, as if struggling to keep her story straight. One night, while Olivia was in the shower, Andrew saw her phone light up on the nightstand. A message preview appeared on the screen. "I can't wait to see you again. Last night was incredible." His heart pounded in his chest. The sender's name was saved as M. Andrew clenched his jaw, a sickening realization washing over him. He wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding, but deep down he knew. His wife was cheating, and now he needed proof. Instead of confronting her immediately, Andrew decided to wait. If Olivia had been lying so effortlessly, he needed undeniable evidence before making his move. He started watching her closely, noting every inconsistency, every whispered phone call, every moment she seemed lost in thought. He checked their shared credit card statements and found transactions at hotels and restaurants he had never been to. Then a breakthrough. Olivia had left her laptop open one evening while she was in the shower. A quick search through her emails revealed everything. Reservations under fake names, exchanged messages filled with secrets, and worst of all, plans to meet M at her birthday party. The audacity. Andrew's grip tightened around the chair as he scrolled through the messages. Olivia and this mystery man had planned to sneak away during her own birthday celebration. A slow, cold rage settled in his chest. She wanted to make a fool out of him? Fine, but she had no idea what was coming. Andrew sat alone in his home office, staring at his laptop screen. Olivia's messages with M played in his mind like a broken record. He had spent the past few days gathering more proof, hotel receipts, call logs, and even a few conveniently overheard phone conversations. She had no idea how careless she had been. If Olivia wanted to celebrate her birthday with her lover, Andrew would make sure it was a night she'd never forget. He wasn't just going to expose her. He was going to make sure everyone knew the truth. Friends, family, co-workers, everyone who had ever admired their so-called perfect marriage. He picked up his phone and dialed his best friend, Jake. "Hey, man," Jake answered. "What's up?" "I need your help," Andrew said, his voice calm but firm. "Anything. What's going on?" Andrew hesitated for a moment before saying, "Olivia's cheating." There was silence on the other end before Jake spoke again, his tone laced with disbelief. "Are you sure?" "More than sure. I have proof." Jake sighed. "Man, I'm so sorry. What do you need from me?" Andrew took a deep breath. "I need you to help me set her up. I want to catch her in the act, at her own birthday party." Jake let out a low whistle. "That's cold, but I'm in." Andrew explained his plan. He was going to invite everyone, friends, family, Olivia's co-workers, even her boss. Then, when the time was right, he'd reveal everything. But first, he needed to know exactly who M was. Andrew had a few leads. The messages Olivia had exchanged with him mentioned a meeting spot, a small cafe downtown. If he could catch them together, he'd have undeniable proof. The next afternoon, he parked across the street from the cafe, a pair of sunglasses shielding his eyes. He had already seen Olivia's text confirming their meetup. "Can't wait to see you. I miss you already. XX." Andrew's hands tightened around the steering wheel. He had been nothing but devoted to Olivia, and this was how she repaid him? Then he saw her. Olivia stepped out of her car, dressed in a tight black dress, one Andrew had bought her for their anniversary. A few moments later, a man arrived. Andrew's stomach twisted. It was Matthew Blake. Matthew was Olivia's co-worker, her boss, to be exact. A man she had always described as strict but professional. Andrew watched as Olivia greeted Matthew with a lingering kiss before they disappeared inside the cafe. So this was it, the man she had risked everything for. Andrew took a deep breath and pulled out his phone. He snapped a few pictures. Then he hit record. If Olivia thought she was getting away with this, she was dead wrong. That evening, Andrew sat down at his desk and started printing out everything: texts, emails, photos. He placed them in separate envelopes, each labeled with the names of Olivia's closest friends and family members. Next, he hacked into the venue's projector system. A slideshow presentation filled with evidence would be waiting, ready to play at just the right moment. Jake, meanwhile, was in charge of ensuring Matthew was at the party. A simple invitation, along with a casual mention that Olivia couldn't stop talking about him, did the trick. By the time the party rolled around, everything was in place. Andrew was ready. Olivia, on the other hand, had no idea that the night that was supposed to be her grand celebration was about to become her downfall. The rooftop venue was stunning, decorated with cascading fairy lights, elegant floral arrangements, and a massive banner that read, "Happy Birthday, Olivia." Guests mingled, sipping champagne, chatting over hors d'oeuvres. The atmosphere was light, celebratory, exactly what Olivia had wanted. Andrew played his part perfectly. He greeted guests with a warm smile, shook hands, and even stole a few kisses on Olivia's cheek. She beamed at him, playing the role of the devoted wife flawlessly. If only she knew. As planned, Matthew arrived shortly after. He was dressed in a tailored suit, his confidence evident as he scanned the crowd. Olivia's eyes flickered to him for only a second before she turned back to her guests, but Andrew caught it. She thought she was being discreet. She had no idea that every guest, every friend, and every relative would soon witness her deception firsthand. At exactly 9 p.m., Andrew clinked his glass, drawing everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said with a smile, "thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate Olivia's special day. My wife is an incredible woman, charming, smart, and full of surprises." A few chuckles from the crowd. Olivia laughed nervously beside him. "And tonight," Andrew continued, "I thought we'd honor her with something special. A little slideshow of memories, if you will." He turned toward the projector screen behind him and pressed play. At first, the slideshow displayed sweet moments, pictures from their wedding, vacations, birthdays past. Olivia smiled, relaxing beside him. Then, the images changed. A text exchange appeared, blown up for everyone to see. I can't wait to see you again. Last night was incredible. The room went silent. Olivia's face paled. Andrew, what is this? He ignored her, letting the slideshow continue. More text followed, flirtatious, intimate, undeniable. Then came the photos, Olivia and Matthew at the cafe, their hands intertwined, their kiss frozen in time for all to see. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Murmurs turned into outright whispers. Olivia's mother looked horrified. Her best friend stared at her in shock. But Andrew wasn't done. A video played next, Olivia and Matthew in their car, laughing, kissing. Olivia's breath hitched. Andrew, stop this. We can talk. Talk. Andrew cut her off, his voice dripping with mock amusement. Like how you talked to Matthew behind my back. Like how you planned to sneak away with him tonight. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. And then, the final blow. Andrew turned to Matthew. Since you're here, Matt, why don't you tell everyone how long this has been going on? Matthew's face was ashen. Andrew, this isn't the place. Oh, I think it is, Andrew said, his voice steady. I think everyone here deserves to know exactly what kind of woman Olivia really is. The room was deathly silent. Olivia's hands trembled. The woman who had so carefully crafted an image of the perfect wife, the faithful partner, now stood exposed. On her own birthday, in front of everyone she held dear. A heavy silence settled over the party. The weight of Olivia's betrayal hung thick in the air, suffocating. The slideshow had stopped, but its impact was irreversible. Andrew stood firm, his gaze locked on Olivia as she trembled under the scrutiny of her friends, family, and co-workers. The first person to speak was Olivia's mother. Olivia, she whispered, her voice shaking. Tell me this isn't true. Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes. Mom, I can explain. Explain. Her mother's voice rose in disbelief. Explain what? That you cheated on your husband? That you lied to all of us? That you humiliated yourself like this? Olivia turned to Andrew, desperation flashing across her face. Andrew, please. We can fix this. Let's just talk in private. Andrew let out a cold laugh. Private? Like how you privately met up with Matthew while I worked late nights. Like how you privately texted him, kissed him, and planned to leave me. She shook her head frantically. I never planned to leave you. Don't lie to me again, Olivia, Andrew snapped. I read your messages. I saw everything. Olivia opened her mouth but closed it again. She had no more excuses. And then someone else spoke. Wow, a voice scoffed. Everyone turned toward the sound. It was Matthew's wife. The room gasped as a woman stepped forward, tall, blonde, furious. Surprised to see me, Matthew, she sneered. Matthew's face drained of all color. Jessica, what are you doing here? Jessica crossed her arms. Oh, I got an interesting little message earlier today. From Andrew. Olivia's eyes widened as realization hit. Andrew had planned this. Jessica turned to Olivia. You really thought you were special? That my husband was going to leave me for you? She laughed bitterly. You were just his side piece, sweetheart. A disposable little thrill. Olivia flinched. That's not true. Matthew told me. Oh, please, Jessica interrupted. Matthew's been cheating for years. You're not the first, and you wouldn't have been the last. The truth hit Olivia like a slap. She turned to Matthew, eyes pleading. Tell her that's not true. Tell her. But Matthew wouldn't even meet her gaze. He had already started edging toward the exit, hoping to escape the public spectacle. Jessica wasn't done, though. She reached into her bag and pulled out a stack of divorce papers. Matthew, I'd say it was nice being married to you, but that would be a lie. I was going to wait, but thanks to Andrew's little presentation, I see no reason to delay. Consider this your official notice. I'm done. She tossed the papers at him and turned on her heel, striding toward the door. You two deserve each other, she spat over her shoulder. And just like that, she was gone. The tension in the room shifted. People were no longer shocked. They were disgusted. Olivia's friends whispered amongst themselves, shaking their heads. Her father looked away, shame in his eyes. Her boss, who had once admired her professionalism, quietly excused himself, already making mental notes about the workplace policy on infidelity scandals. Even Olivia's closest friends wouldn't look at her. And then, the final humiliation. Andrew picked up his champagne glass, raised it in a mock toast, and said, "Happy birthday, Olivia. Enjoy the rest of your night." Laughter rippled through the crowd. And just like that, Olivia's world collapsed. The rooftop venue, once alive with laughter and celebration, now felt like a graveyard of shattered reputations. Olivia stood frozen, her face pale, her hands trembling. The whispers grew louder, cutting into her like knives. Her guests, once her closest friends, now avoided her gaze. Some walked away shaking their heads. Others openly ridiculed her. Even her parents, her own parents, looked at her with disappointment. "Let's go," her father muttered to Olivia's mother, who simply nodded. They left without another word. Matthew, realizing there was nothing left to salvage, made a run for it. Olivia turned to Andrew, her eyes filled with desperation. "Andrew, please, we need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about, Olivia," Andrew said, his voice eerily calm. "Our marriage is over." Tears streamed down her face. "It was a mistake. I wasn't thinking. You have to understand." Andrew held up a hand. "No, Olivia. You have to understand. You threw away everything we built together. For what? A cheap affair with a man who never even planned to stay with you." She sobbed. "I still love you." Andrew stared at her for a long moment. Then he said, "I don't love you anymore." The words hit Olivia harder than anything else that night. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Andrew turned and walked away. Over the next few days, Olivia's life fell apart even further. Andrew moved out of their house immediately, leaving her alone in the emptiness. His lawyer sent divorce papers within the week. He wasn't interested in negotiations. He had everything planned, everything prepared. Since their prenup favored Andrew, Olivia stood to lose nearly everything. But that wasn't the worst of it. Word about her affair spread like wildfire. Her co-workers distanced themselves. Her boss, who had attended the party, terminated her contract, citing unethical behavior. Friends who once adored her stopped answering her calls. Jessica, Matthew's now ex-wife, made sure Olivia's reputation was completely ruined, especially among the social circles that mattered most to her. And Matthew? He never contacted Olivia again. She was left completely alone. Meanwhile, Andrew thrived. The divorce went through quickly, and he never looked back. With Olivia out of his life, he focused on himself, his career, his health, his happiness. Months later, at a gathering, mutual friends spoke about Andrew's new life. He was dating again. He looked better than ever. And most importantly, he was happy. Olivia watched from the sidelines, a spectator in the life she once had. Her betrayal had cost her everything, and no one, not her parents, not her friends, and certainly not Andrew, felt sorry for her. She was the author of her own downfall, and now she had to live with it.